How much trust do you put in your healthcare system? In Ireland, before the Redfern inquiry, that trust was severely tested. In the hushed hallways of Ireland's medical facilities, the trust placed in the hands of healthcare professionals was quietly crumbling. Unbeknownst to many, a crisis was unfolding, a silent epidemic that was eating away at the fabric of the nation's healthcare system. This was a crisis of medical malpractice, a scourge that was causing untold suffering to unsuspecting patients who were simply seeking help. These patients, ordinary folks like you and me, found themselves at the mercy of a system that was failing them miserably. Their stories are both heartrending and infuriating. They speak of misdiagnoses, botched surgeries, and unnecessary procedures. They tell tales of physical pain and emotional torment, of trust betrayed and lives forever altered. Listen to their voices, hear their stories, feel their pain. One survivor recounts, "I trusted my doctors, I believed they would help me, but instead I was subjected to procedures I didn't need, mistakes that shouldn't have been made." The pain was unbearable, but the betrayal, that was worse. Another chimes in, "I was not just a patient, I was a person whose life was turned upside down because of negligence and incompetence. It wasn't just my health that was affected, it was my entire life." These are not isolated incidents, but rather they're part of a larger, more disturbing narrative. A narrative of a healthcare system riddled with systemic failures, of a culture of cover-ups and unaccountability. It was a crisis that remained largely unseen, until the Redfern inquiry brought it to light. The victims of malpractice were not just patients, they were people whose lives were irrevocably changed. And as we delve deeper into the story of the Redfern inquiry, we will hear more of these voices, and we will uncover the shocking truth about the state of medical malpractice in Ireland. In the face of institutional silence, it was the courage of whistleblowers that finally brought the crisis to light. These were ordinary individuals, healthcare workers and patients alike, who dared to speak out against a system that had failed them. They were the ones who refused to become a part of the silence that shrouded the medical malpractice scandal in Ireland's healthcare system. Whistleblowers, often risking their careers and reputations, revealed the shocking extent of negligence and malpractice. Their testimonies painted a harrowing picture of botched surgeries, misdiagnoses, and unnecessary procedures, all carried out under the guise of professional medical care. In one poignant account, a former nurse shared how she had been ostracized by her colleagues for voicing concerns about patient safety. In another, a patient recalled being subjected to a series of painful and unnecessary treatments due to a misdiagnosis. Each story was a chilling reminder of the human cost of medical malpractice. In the face of such adversity, the whistleblowers remained resolute. They joined forces with patient advocates who tirelessly campaigned for justice and accountability. These advocates worked to bring attention to the issue, organizing protests, circulating petitions, and using the media to put pressure on the medical establishment. Despite facing considerable pushback, the whistleblowers and advocates did not back down. Their relentless efforts to expose the truth eventually caught the attention of the authorities, leading to the launch of the Redfern inquiry. Their resilience was a testament to their determination to bring about change. They were driven by a sense of duty and a belief in the right of every patient to receive safe, competent, and compassionate medical care. They believed that the healthcare system should serve its patients, not harm them. Their voices, once dismissed and ignored, became the catalyst for a seismic shift in Ireland's healthcare system. They challenged the status quo, demanding better from a system that had let them down. It was their voice that sparked the beginning of the Redfern inquiry. Their courage and perseverance serve as a stark reminder that it often takes the bravery of a few to bring about change for the many. The commencement of the Redfern inquiry marked the beginning of a long-awaited reckoning. The halls of justice filled with a sense of anticipation as the inquiry got underway, the air heavy with the weight of stories untold and grievances unaddressed. The inquiry, led by an independent panel, was set to investigate the myriad allegations of medical malpractice that had plagued Ireland's healthcare system for years. As the proceedings began, key witnesses took the stand, their voices steady, their narratives chilling. Families spoke of loved ones lost to misdiagnoses and botched surgeries. Survivors recounted tales of pain and suffering, of trust broken and lives irrevocably altered. Each testimony was a piece in a larger, more disturbing puzzle, painting a picture of systemic negligence and incompetence in the healthcare sector. The nation watched as these stories unraveled, each revelation more shocking than the last. The news cycles were dominated by the inquiry, the public both horrified and riveted by the testimonies pouring forth. The reactions ranged from disbelief to outrage, as people grappled with the extent of the malpractice that had occurred within the very institutions meant to protect them. Doctors, nurses, and administrators were called to testify. Their accounts scrutinized for any hint of complicity or negligence. The medical community, once revered, was now under the microscope, its credibility hanging in the balance. The inquiry was not just about individual accountability, but also about the systemic failures that had allowed such malpractice to thrive. As the inquiry trudged on, it was clear that this was not an isolated incident, but a widespread problem that had permeated the very fabric of Ireland's healthcare system. The Redfern inquiry was not just unearthing individual cases of malpractice, but revealing a culture of negligence and cover-ups that had been allowed to fester for far too long. The nation watched, shocked and appalled, as the dark underbelly of their healthcare system was laid bare. The Redfern inquiry had begun, and it was clear that the road to justice and accountability was going to be a long and arduous one. The Redfern inquiry's revelations sent ripples through the medical community and the public at large. The shocking testimonies and undeniable evidence presented during the inquiry painted a horrifying picture of a healthcare system in crisis. The impact was immediate and far-reaching, sparking a nationwide conversation about patient safety, medical ethics, and institutional accountability. In the wake of the inquiry, the medical community found itself under intense scrutiny. Doctors, nurses, and administrators were forced to confront the uncomfortable truth. Their profession, once a beacon of trust and healing, had been tainted by negligence and malpractice. The revelations triggered a wave of introspection and soul-searching, leading to calls for reform and a renewed commitment to patient safety. For the public, the Redfern inquiry was a rude awakening. Thousands of patients and their families who had placed their trust in the healthcare system were left feeling betrayed and outraged. The inquiry's findings sparked widespread public debate and led to calls for increased transparency, stricter regulation, and stronger oversight of the medical profession. Trust in the healthcare system was at an all-time low, and rebuilding that trust became a top priority. Experts, meanwhile, began to analyze the implications of the Redfern inquiry. They pointed out that the scandal was not just a series of isolated incidents, but a systemic failure. It highlighted the urgent need for comprehensive reforms, including stronger regulations, increased transparency, improved training, and a culture of accountability. The fallout from the Redfern inquiry, they argued, offered a unique opportunity to overhaul the healthcare system and prevent such a scandal from happening again. In the end, the Redfern inquiry didn't just expose a scandal, it exposed a systemic failure. It served as a stark reminder of the dire consequences of negligence and complacency in healthcare. But it also paved the way for crucial reforms, sparking a movement for change that continues to this day. Its legacy is a healthcare system that is more transparent, more accountable, and more dedicated to patient safety than ever before. The Redfern inquiry, while a dark chapter in Ireland's history, sparked a critical shift towards accountability and reform. This monumental investigation not only exposed the underbelly of malpractice and negligence, but also ignited a wave of change that reverberated through every corner of Ireland's healthcare system. The ramifications of the Redfern inquiry were profound and far-reaching. It served as the catalyst for a much-needed overhaul of healthcare practices, prompting the introduction of stringent regulations and standards of care. These reforms aimed to eradicate the systemic failures unearthed by the inquiry, ensuring that patient safety was no longer compromised. In the wake of Redfern, transparency became a cornerstone of the healthcare system. Medical professionals were held accountable for their actions, and patients were empowered with the right to know about their treatment and any potential risks involved. This shift towards openness and honesty marked a significant departure from the culture of secrecy and cover-ups that had previously prevailed. Further reforms included the establishment of a robust system of checks and balances designed to prevent the recurrence of such a scandal. Medical practitioners were subjected to regular audits and performance reviews. Whistleblower protection measures were strengthened, encouraging more people to come forward and report malpractice without fear of retribution. Experts agree that while significant progress has been made, the road to change is long and fraught with challenges. The healthcare system continues to grapple with issues of understaffing, lack of resources, and an ever-growing patient demand. The lessons from the Redfern inquiry remain as relevant as ever, guiding the ongoing efforts to improve patient care. The fight for accountability and justice continues, and the legacy of the Redfern inquiry serves as a constant reminder of the importance of this struggle. The inquiry may have ended, but its impact resonates, reminding us all of the need to ensure that the right to safe, high-quality healthcare is upheld, no matter the cost.